begin today's mailbag, a $5 super thanks from William Cook. He says, the frustrating aspect is that the Cowboys could have avoided scrambling in August for a corner and defensive tackle help. I think William's right. And this was in reference to, like, some of the reports and projections of, like, hey, maybe the Cowboys actually do go get a DT or a corner. Jerry not closing the door or not fully closing it. Steven saying they were interested in that area. Look, in general, my point remains the same. It's the exact same conversation we had last year, especially at defensive tackle. Like, if you want help, like actual help, solution help, and not Band-Aid help, you got to do it in April, in March. You wait till August, and your viable options are cut down extremely thin to where, it doesn't look good. Finding a solution is pretty hard. Now, just like we did throughout the offseason, every $5 super thanks will get you into whatever upcoming raffle we have for our Cowboys watch parties. So, in this case, $5 gets you into our jersey of your choice Cowboys preseason raffle for week 2. $5 super chat or super thanks. Either of those work for you on the Cowboys Report. Austin Carey just says $2 thanks. Is it even possible how we could fix the run defense this late, especially with the run defense? I know signing Gilmore could solve corner problems, but I'm more worried about the run. Is it even possible to save that problem now, or do we just have to ride it out and see what happens? Kind of like what I mentioned previously, I don't know. Like, the top free agents are like, Christian Wilkins, set him aside. He's kind of in a unique bubble almost where, like, we'll see. Like, the off-the-field stuff, the injury stuff, the availability is a giant question mark. But it's like Linval Joseph and Raekwon Davis, or we're, like, making trades again for, like, back-of-the-roster DTs. Like, can somebody's fifth DT be your third or fourth best DT? And if that's the case, like, are you actually fixed? Like, you can try things, but, once you get to August, outside of a massive move, which is not normally the Cowboys' MO, you kind of just got to cross your fingers and hope, which is concerning to me. So with that in mind, what do you predict the Cowboys' record will end up being this year? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. From Juan Ramos, if the Cowboys sign Stephon Gilmore, should he play outside and put Bland on the slot or Elam in the slot? So you would put him on the outside and you'd put Bland in the slot. Gilmore does not have the quickness and never really has. He's always been an outside guy, but he is not a nickel corner. It's not where you want to play him. Same with Elam. Your slot options right now in no particular order are DaRon Bland, Kamon Hall, Zion Childress, and Izzy Mukwamu. It's kind of why, like, the best and worst case scenario is DaRon Bland in the nickel. But even then, right now, without Gilmore, it's like Diggs healthy or Andrew Booth, which I don't want to play that game ever again. From Troy Daniels, a.k.a. at DTeddy1970, says, I had heard Tyler Allgeier's name being raised as a possible target to trade for. What would it take to get him? Good question. I think Allgeier in particular is probably not going to happen. The Falcons have Bijan. He's awesome. We all know that. Behind him, not including Allgeier, it's like Carlos Washington and Jashawn Corbin and Elijah Dotson. Like, it's unserious. Like, they don't have a second back without Allgeier. So right now, they're just going to be happy to have a cheap, really good RB2. So I don't think he's actually available. If the season falls apart, maybe they could reconsider, but I don't think it's going to fall apart for them that quickly. So, like, it's a logical name because of the presence of Robinson, but the guys behind him make this unlikely to occur. From Tim Roughrider, what is he, a fan of the Frisco team? Would the Cowboys have been better off keeping Trey Lance? I did this. Let me pull up the exact stats before I get myself into trouble. I did this as a tweet the other day because I thought it was kind of funny of how I don't expect anybody watching to actually be watching Chargers preseason games. I don't think there's no reason to do that unless you're just really bored, which is great. I do it because it's my job, but, like, I don't think other people should do it. I think media should be watching the preseason games, but I did this as a tweet the other day of, like, I tweeted out player A, player B. Player A, through 2 preseason games, is completed 58.8% of his passes for 5.1 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 3 sacks, 56 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. Player B has 62.5%, 5.3 yards per carry, so 0.2 higher, only 1 touchdown, still no interceptions, 78 yards on the ground, and I put those numbers out. 75% voted player B was outplaying player A. Player B was Trey Lance in his first 2 games last year for the Cowboys. Player A is Trey Lance right now for the Chargers. The numbers actually aren't different at all. The difference is that it's just like it does not fit in terms of like the impact in the play. Like I think the highlights of Trey Lance are still super intriguing, but the actual like impact hasn't been there. Like it's been kind of disappointing so far for Trey Lance. Like I think it's all still flash in the end, which is still what Milton is. I don't think there's actually a huge difference right now. Let's not in the games. So pick your QB. JM for Joe Milton, TL for Trey Lance. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. If you could pick one right now, pretend the money's the same, etc., as the backup, who would it be? Go vote. Lucid Chart to the Cowboys re-sign Brevyn Spann-Ford. Brevyn Spann-Ford is under team control for 2 more years. He's got this year, next year, and then actually I think he's a restricted free agent after that. So check in again in 2 years. That's not really something you have to worry about for the time being. This Dallas Cowboys hoodie is on sale. Was $55. Now it is just $33. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. A perfect fall outfit for you as the weather hopefully finally and soon begins to cool. Chatsports.com/DAL hoodie. From W. Linton 20, I think it's Wes Linton is his name. Now YouTube does the handles, and I get confused. Hypothetical scenario, but what if Trevon plays well this year coming from injury and remains healthy through 2025? Would you then keep him over Bland or cut him and keep Bland? Thank you. Both is in play, by the way. If like Diggs outplays Bland, you're probably just better off keeping Diggs, right? Because just take the better guy. My thought process at this point, though, is that even if Diggs plays well, the Cowboys have let their money get so mad. I think they're just going to move on pretty much no matter what, whether that's smart or not, because both is good. Both is an option. Super chat time, $5 from Blood Slinger. Is there a chance Parsons plays out the contract and they franchise tag him next year? Look, I think it's possible. Everything is on the table at this time for the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons because we're not talking to each other and I issued a trade request stage. That's not good. It could end up being fine, but the process to get us here has been so bad and so negative and so in the feelings. It's not good. You have to have that as a consideration. I think that would be a bit more likely than a trade in August, but everything's on the table. It's frustrating. Ends probably the same way, but still stupid. From Not R. Kelly, what do you think about the recent 70-yard field goal kick? So if those of you who do not know, Cam Little, the Jags kicker, hit a 70-yard field goal in the preseason. I think it was against the Steelers who they were playing, which is just unbelievable. That it does not count as a record. It would have been a record-setting kick. He kicked pretty well last year for the Jags. I think he was like 93% after being a draft pick out of Arkansas, I do believe. I think I said Stanford on the live show, but it was Arkansas. His career long was 59, drilled from 70. It's impressive. Let's let Aubrey have a chance to break it in the preseason. That's my next step. From Mighty Mouse, is now the time to trade for Dameon Pierce or Kendre Miller? If you think you need a back, yeah. Like this is around the time you go do it. You know, I know that Joe Mixon has been banged up. Nick Chubb's still working his way back, but I think Woody Marks is probably going to make this team. If Chubb and Mixon are healthy, Pierce might not make the roster. The Saints are kind of overhauling their ground game. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is not going to go anywhere, but if Kendre Miller can't win the 2 job, then he's probably going to be a potential trade option. It's just, I don't know if the Cowboys think they need one. And if that's the case, just not trade for him. What do you think? Do the Cowboys need to trade for a back? Or maybe you think they need a better back than the 2 names I mentioned, or that were mentioned, that we discussed here, because this guys might not really move the needle for you much either. Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. From Daniel, if the Cowboys sign Christian Wilkins for DT and Stephon Gilmore for corner, our defense will be fixed for now until 2026. We can go 12-5, 13-4 with that defense and be top 10. If you get healthy Christian Wilkins, I think that's massive for you. The problem is, I don't know if you're going to have healthy Christian Wilkins this year. That's a giant question mark, given everything about him right now. Like, the foot injury was clearly not rehabbed well. The off-the-field stuff, frankly, the presence of David Mulligeta as his agent is probably a negative thing. So I would be hesitant to say that that's going to be an option, but it would help you. Make no mistake about it. Lucid Chart would trade Mazi and a fourth for Kenny Clark. Sure. Packers aren't. Packers just traded, or just extended, I should say, Kenny Clark. They would save, I think it's like $3 million this year, but like that's essentially just like throwing money out the window because they just extended him. I don't think Green Bay would have any interest at all. That's the crux of the issue. They're like, Cowboys, sure. Packers say bye. We will be live for every single Cowboys preseason game. Help us out and join us by subscribing. Hit that sub button right now. Daniel, heard what Mazi said about his performance. I quite honestly don't have the slightest of care because he has moments and he hasn't taken them. It's like, what have you done? So I agree. Like I think the overall mindset of like Mazi was right when he said, those of you who don't know, Mazi essentially said like I have to do more. Like, I'm in year 3, his first round pick. I have to be more impactful. I have to showcase what I'm able to do better. I agree. I also get the mindset of like, okay, well then do it. Because you do have to do it. Otherwise, it's all talk. I'll also say like, look, the first step is acknowledging it. Maybe he never gets to step 2 of actually being better. But I'd rather him say I have to be better than be like, no, I thought I played pretty well when you didn't. So in the end, much like just like all the good vibes around Schottenheimer, none of it matters unless you win games or play better. But I think that is a good first step.